Hi guys, happy Monday. Today I thought I would jump on live and do our stretch break live. So hopefully we get a little bit more engagement out of this. Today's focus is going to be quad and hip flexor focus. We will of course be stretching a couple other things while we target those big guys. Today you'll need a yoga block or a firm pillow. I have my chair here. You can either use a chair or a wall, or if you're flexible enough, or you could use a belt to grab the foot. That will be our final stretch. If you're ready, go ahead and join me on your knees. If you find that this is uncomfortable to be on your knees, you can roll up your mat and give you a little bit more padding. We're going to drop our hips and set them on the heels. Sit up tall, pull the chest up, shoulders down your back. Pull the head back slightly to keep that neck in line with the spine. And just start with an alignment position. Taking a nice deep breath here. Exhale all the way out. Let those shoulders drop. We're going to go ahead and come up onto our knees. If you have your firm pillow or your block, this may be a place that you would like to use it. I'm going to demonstrate first with the block and then I'll show without. It really doesn't do much but limit how far your hips drop down in this position. We're going to send our bottom back to the block or the pillow, that if you have a pillow, you've placed it under the calves. Our hips are resting on our heels. You're going to place the right hand back behind you and then the left hand. Lift through that chest and arch through the back. And right here may be where you stay. And that's perfectly okay. You'll feel a stretch in your chest as well as your shoulders. But if not, go ahead and lift those hips up, pressing the pelvis forward, getting a nice big arch in that back. This would be the more advanced. Inhale, and as you exhale, lower those hips down. Set the hip on the block and come up, and then stand, and let's extend through those hips once more. Staying there for one breath cycle. Sorry, I failed to start my music. I mean, what's class without music? For me anyway. Okay. Let's go right through that sequence again. Drop those hips down on your block or your pillow. Chest is still tall. Shoulders are down your back. Said it was instrumental, but I don't see the instrumental. I hear words. Hands go back behind you. Push through the pelvis. So here my hips are not lifted, but slightly off my block. If you need to, you can keep them seated on your pillow. If you'd like to go a little higher, reach up through that chest. Keeping control of your head, make sure that you're not dropping the head back and putting that neck, cervical, vertebrae, and arms blank. Big breath in, and as you exhale, bring that bottom back to your chair or pillow. I'm going to sit up on my knees, push that pelvis forward. Place your hands in a fist position back on your low back. Bring the elbows together, do a nice little arch, lifting that chest, lifting that rib cage, feeling that stretch all along that hip flexor. From here, we're going to take our right leg forward. Or no, I'm sorry. You guys can continue with your right leg. I'm going to do my left so you can see exactly the gliding motion I'm going to create. You come back just a little bit. If this is hard on your knees at any time, feel free to place that mat, double it up, triple it up, use your pillow, use a towel. Start with a nice alignment. Pull those shoulders down your back. Chin is tucked slightly back, not down. We're going to release the pelvis. When I do, my bottom pushes out, my pelvis tilts forward, and I want you to squeeze the bottom, reversing that tilt. Release, hips slightly go back. Pull those abdominals in, really stretch. Now this time I'm leaning back a little further into it. And release. I'm hinging a little more than you need to, just to show you that my hips are going back. Squeeze. Bottom is clenched tight. The muscles right here in the hip are lengthening. Again, release. Last time. Hold it here. Pull those abs in. Squeeze through those glute muscles. We're gonna do a little glide. I want you to imagine this left knee is just gonna take us forward and back, forward and back. We are not releasing those glutes. We're staying right in here. Feeling that nice stretch through here as we glide forward and back, holding that contraction. Give me 2 more. Last one, and release. Let's go ahead and stretch and lengthen out that back leg. Send it back. Hands come to the floor. Drive through that hip and home. We're going to stay with that left foot in front. You're going to face the front with both knees. Still have our left leg out here on the side. I want you to go ahead, place that foot down. Hips are facing the front, facing me. Right hand is going to fall towards the right side. Lift that left arm up and over your head and look at your left elbow. Push that pelvis towards the camera or towards the front, so wherever you're facing. We just don't want to have the hips back here. We want to lift up and open those hips. And release, come up, bend that right knee, hinge through that hip, and sit on up. Left foot meets the right. Right leg will go out now. We're going to start with those tilts. So, push the hips back. There you go. Squeeze and tighten. I went a little too far. Release, send the hip back slightly, and then scoop that pelvis under, pausing there when you contract, and release. Contract. Release. Let's go again. You should feel that pelvis curl up and under. Abdominals are contracting as well. This one we're going to hold right here. Squeeze tightly. Once you get balanced or controlled, we're going to use that right leg to glide and back. So we're keeping this contracted and lengthened. If you're pretty flexible and you don't feel this stretch, you can lift both of those arms up above your head. I'll warn you that will create quite a lengthening along that entire body. Front body anyway, on that left side. One more. And release. Send the hip back just for a second. Find that lengthening stretch. Left leg goes back behind you. Hands are on the floor. Lengthening out that stretch. Go ahead and come up on that left knee. Spin around to where both knees are in front. Place that right foot down on the floor. Send that left arm over to that left side. Right arm goes up above your head. Make sure your hips are not back. Push that pelvis forward. Lift through that chest. Grow nice and tall here, and then send that arm up and over. Two more breaths. Last one. Exhale. Come on up, bend that knee. Hinge and swing it on up. All right. Moving into our last stretch. If your knees are bothering you, actually, let's go ahead and come off our knees just for a moment. We've been on them quite a while. Just kind of shake them out. And let's just take a quick little hip stretch. Right over the left. If you cannot do this, you'll place it on the pillow in front of you or your block. Set up tall. Let's bring the left arm under the right arm. You can't interlace the fingers. I always just use my thumb as kind of a loop, and I loop-de-loop my thumbs. Lift your elbows up and drop forward. Oh, my stars. You should feel that in that back. Got dark in here all of a sudden. Maybe it's been that dark. On your next exhalation, I want you to raise those elbows up, uncross the arms, bring the hands back behind you, uncross the legs, left leg over right, right arm under the left arm this time, lift those elbows up, and slowly hinge over. Remember, your modification would be to bring the left foot out in front of you on a pillow or just on the floor. Whatever your body agrees with today. Inhale, and as you exhale, I want you to bring those elbows up, uncross the arms, bring the hands back behind you. Lift through that chest, just do an opposite stretch. Uncross the legs. So now to the really fun, intense one. I'll show different levels, but first let me get you into position. If you're not going to be using a chair, similar to using the wall, you're just going to mimic this back leg option, but it'll be on a wall and not a chair. We're going to come over on all fours. If you're scooting up against a wall, you'll want to make sure that that shin can go flat against the wall. You may need a, I thought I had my chair stopped. You're going to keep your foot on that chair. I'm going to reach back and grab my leg and come back in the picture. My chair rolled out from under me. This is the angle that we're wanting, that back leg. Chest is up. Stretching yet again through that front thigh. So some will find that they can bring that left foot forward, reach back. Oh, I may cramp on this one. My hamstrings are awful tight. And grab the legs here. So those are your options. Find what works for you. And I'm really sorry, my chair's. Maybe it'll work here. So I hold it. There we go. Holding the chair works. Feeling a nice stretch. Let's do 2 more breaths right here on this side. If you're not feeling it, engage those glutes, pushing that pelvis forward to really get that stretch. Last breath here, and release. Hands come down to the floor. Remove yourself from the wall. Give yourself a little tail shake. Letting that back really release. Maybe a cat stretch into a cow. And when you're ready, set up for your other side. Come here, chair. All right. Chair is not cooperating, so I'm going to be holding this foot. Left foot back. On the wall, if you're using the wall. Setting up tall through those hips. If you're on the floor like I am and you're not using a prop, I'm going to go ahead and try to reach back and grab with my foot in front to get a little deeper stretch. Does change the movement through the hips. Set up tall, raise that chest, pull those shoulders down, and just breathe. Two more breaths. And release. Come on to all fours. Create some movement in those hips. Give yourself a couple cow-cat stretches. We're going to end with a downward dog. Separate your feet wide, especially if you're tight. I know my hammies are tight today, so I'm separating my feet into wide stance down dog. Curl the toes, push back into those heels. Drop those heels down, get a nice stretch through those calves. Drop the chest towards the shins or the ankles. One more breath here. We're going to bend the knees, walk our hands back to meet our feet. Hold. Nice little forward fold, transitioning to a finishing position. Pull those abs in, bend the knees, and roll it up slow. Great work. We are done. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you comment if you did participate.